So you want to know if you're immortal? Well, the answer is yes. There is part of you that was living before you became the genetic identity that you now are. Now that is the cytoplasm. It's the living fluid that exists inside each of our cells. Now, our life essence was combined with genetics when we were conceived. But it first had its beginning when the egg was first formed. Now that was about 6 months before your mother was born. Now this everlasting cytoplasm, it has been alive for 3.7 billion years. It is the reason why we continue to be. We do genetic stuff and behavioural stuff on top of this thing that is passed on at each generation. So we each possess this. Now we each have about 30 trillion cells that each possess it. These include the neurons. They are the things, the cells, having never died. But they will die. We are mortal. That's one of the conditions for being alive. So every second we have 50 million cell deaths. But that's balanced by 50 million cell divisions. So we are in a continuous balance between dying and being reborn. Now it's important to note what happens when a cell divides. Now if we see it, we say there was one cell, there became two cells. We'll even call these two cells a daughter generation. But from the perspective of the cells involved, they were alive, something happened, and they continue to be alive. But what was once contained within one is equally contained within two. That's the reason why we all have our individual conscious experience. We are all expressing something that relates to cell division, the first great miracle of life, self-replication. That's the reason we exist. It's the reason we have developed. It's the reason why genetics and all the rest managed over all of the countless generations to sculpt what it is that we were going to become as humans. What it was we were going to be able to think as humans. Will we be able to master what life is? And although humanity has mastered the great questions that have caused all the greats of the past to ponder and fail, we've solved all of those. But only the specialists. The rest of us tend to not be interested, because that requires years of study. I am Pete the Polymath, and I hope I've inspired you to understand the reason why you are immortal. Now, that immortality is also expressed in your siblings. It's passed on through your sister's daughter's daughters. It's passed on through your mother's sister's daughter's daughters. It's passed on through your mother's 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 sister's daughter's daughter's daughters. So we are not solely our soul. That immortality continues on through these other lineages. So then we come to this immortality thing again. So what is the concept of life after death from these scientific, rational, mathematical perspectives? Well, there is life after death, but it is exactly the same as what we are, as life after the deaths of our ancestors. So we know that all future people, born in whatever time, whatever hell and place on earth, or whatever paradise they're born into, they will have a human experience based on the same things our human experiences come from, which is the unbroken lineage of cytoplasm and the unbroken lineages of genetics. So do your best, advance yourself as a human. Master the 4 principles that have been lost or undeveloped. Gain mastery of your voice by becoming an overtone singer. Become familiar with all movement, complete movement video if you like. Understand the nature of thought, what it is we are as a mind that attempts to model the universe, and what it is that we are as a participant within that model. And finally, make sure you know enough science to know what is going on around you. Have enough knowledge to be able to understand the nature of what is being discussed by experts. In that way, if you put in 3 years of effort in these 4 principles, we will have an amazing world to live in. Pete the Polymath, thanks very much. Share this video widely because it has a very important message. Immortality. What is the meaning of your life? How are you judged beyond the grave? Thanks very much. Goodbye.
Ha 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 ha.